Hello everyone, Zero here, and the ARC World Tour is nearing its end with one final competition. 15 qualified competitors with one to be decided in just over a week at the time of recording. It's expected to be one of the largest breadths of competition across the globe for Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising. Now before the competitors hit the road and start locking in on their plans for the finals, I decided to pull a few of them aside to ask them a few questions and see what we can expect once the competition begins next weekend. With me today is Elsa, Kanme's own. How you doing, Elsa?
I'm doing great.
How have you been preparing for this ARC World Tour?
Mostly, I've been working on a new character since I believe this character fits my playstyle way more, and I think is in tune for what I value in a character. And I think she brings everything I would want in a character to the table, and I've been playing her a lot, playing ranked matches, running room matches with a lot of people, and practicing her, optimizing her, and taking breaks, because I value breaks a lot when I'm practicing really hard, just to let things settle in, because you can't do too much of one thing because it just won't all stick. So I do take my breaks, like maybe on the weekends I won't play, and then I get back to it.
All right, so you said you have that new character that you've been working on. Do you mind if I divulge in this new character? Because I assume it is Versusia at this point.
It is definitely Versusia.
Okay, we've been seeing some of your streams, practicing out there a little bit with Versusia. What inspired that change? Because last time I had talked to you about your character change for Catalina, you said that Catalina kind of leaned a little bit more into that near playstyle that you were used to. Is that kind of the same case here for Versusia? What made you change from Catalina to Versusia in this edition of the game?
What I do value a lot in this game is space control and full screen presence, and then I believe Versusia does that the best. Even though Catalina's like your strong Shoto with like long range, a great fireball, her 16 frame lariat, Versusia also has a 16 frame lariat that could lead to actual like lethal damage at around 60% of their health if they're not worrying about it. And on top of that, they have plenty of other things to worry about, like her big buttons, her pillars, and like her Anitia ball that she can throw out. It's so much to worry about. And by time the opponent has overcome, I think, like all of her kit, like the specials, her buttons, then they have to deal with a 17k health character. And it's just not in their favor from round start till the end. And I value that a lot, more than pressuring the person and, suffocating them. I value having just neutral control very much, and I think Versusia is perfect for that. I think the way I played Nier, I would also like sit full screen and have the puppet do a lot of the chip and force people to come in and bait them into my moves, and I think Versusia does that a lot.
Yeah, I do like the Versusia toolkit. I can definitely see the similarities for Nier as well. You have that mid-screen commanding presence with her orb special and also her pillar special, being able to stop that forward momentum, the linear progression for a lot of characters in the cast. So it's going to be very fun to see how this character grows in such a short amount of time. Do you recall when you first started picking up Versusia, like when that transition started? Was that post-Frosty, or was that like just over time you were already practicing on Versusia before then?
At Frosty, when I was playing Catalina, a lot of people that asked me for casuals were actually Versusia players, and the more I played them, I just thought about it, and I was like, this character would be perfect in my hands. And as soon as I got home, I loaded up the game, and I just played around with her, and I said, this is the one, and I switched over immediately.
Okay. All right. Hey, when it feels right, it feels right. So I can't blame you on that either. So I guess that is kind of the big surprise. So the next question was to be like, the character changes or any surprises you might have been working on, but that feels like that might be the biggest surprise for those that haven't been maybe watching live your growth through progression even after Frosty and leading up to this event. Is there anything else that maybe you're willing to spill in terms of surprises, or do you think that's probably the big one that you got leading an ARC World Tour?
Oh, I'd say that's one of the big ones, and we'll just see what happens when the stream turns on.
That's what I like to hear. Well, one thing I've been trying to pay attention to is match history across the board for competitors here. and seeing the back and forth. You're actually surprisingly one of the most traveled competitors out of those that have been qualified here. I think it's you, Koji Coco, and it's almost a tie between like Ryazo and Zira being the most like world traveled competitors, and that's pretty huge. Now, is there someone in the group stages that you're worried about running into? Is there somebody you've been really having your eye on in terms of practicing for this event?
Since we don't know who we're gonna be fighting until like maybe a couple days before, I've actually been practicing for everyone, and I hope they've been doing the same.
That is a big deal. Like, that is by far like the scariest aspect for me, is that you're all choosing what group you're going to be in based on your victory. So I think that's going to be fun. And then also us folks that don't have to hold the blame for seeding you. That is all of you.
It's all our fault, no matter what happens.
Is there anyone that maybe you hope to avoid running into during those group stages? Like anybody you want to save for a little bit later on down the line?
Save for a little bit later? I would like to play Gamera again in top 8. That's about it. But everyone else, I'm more than like welcoming people to play me in casuals as well. Like, I would like to play anyone that's going. LCQ, Evo champs, Evo Japan champs, anyone.
No, that is awesome. And this is the time to do it because it's so rare that we get the world travel, right? Like you being the exception of having traveled, to other countries to compete in Granblue, but even still, that's such a rarity that we do get folks traveling outside of our own states to come in for competitions. So that's huge. You're definitely going to have that opportunity, I'm sure. So I guess one of my final questions would be like your thoughts on the game going into ARC World Tours. Sandolphon's out. I'm having the worst time saying Sandolphin. It's Sandolphon, and I keep expressing it that way. But he's out. Yeah, super fun character, and 2.0 is kind of like the soft set into ARC World Tour. What are your thoughts on the patch state? What are your thoughts on the game overall right now?
Right now, I think the BC change was a pretty healthy direction to start going with the game. It's made a lot of things more consistent and less frustrating to deal with. Like once you get on your opponent, if you bait out a VC, then it's still your turn. And if they do want to gamble after like the VC, since it's -2, it's safe. So they can still like maybe do a reversal or probably a mash. It's not in their favor too. It makes it a bit more doable with pressure and like safe jumping. I think it's a really great direction for the game. I don't mind the patch that much, since also I'm on Versusia, and Versusia didn't get any changes this patch.
That'd be a big one, yeah. That's probably in your favor.
Yeah, it's definitely in my favor. I do miss Nier. I will forever miss that character. Even if she won't be, like, as strong as she was before, I think the rework was a bit too much, and I think she at least deserves to use, like, Raging Strike or some of the system mechanics. But I do miss that character. I think that's going to be my thought for, like, until something happens for her.
Oh, you mean, like, simply because once Death is down, now she doesn't have that opportunity to really utilize any of those other skills, right?
Yeah, and, like, if she gets the hit, say, like, someone else, any other character got, like, a stray hit and their cooldowns are down, they still have the Raging Strike, Raging Chain to go into to get some damage or, like, make it worth it using their resources. Nier doesn't have that. She just hits them and then smiles and waves.
Good, that's my triple attack. See you in a few seconds here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it seems like you got your head on straight coming into this competition here. Hopefully get some good rest in between. I think that's a really important takeaway, is the fact that you are taking the time to recuperate, relax, and mentally prepare for the tournament. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what you have to show here. Is there anything else you'd like to leave for the folks at home before you head out? Or, anything else that you'd like to put out on the table there heading into the competition? Any call-outs you want to make, maybe?
Any call-outs? I hope everyone that enjoys fighting games and enjoys Granblue is able to watch the finals and the LCQ. I hope a lot of people can watch the LCQ. There's a lot of strong players going, and it's up in the air who could take it. It's really up in the air. There's so many names.
You're telling me.
I hope her... Oh, yeah, you seen it yourself, huh?
Yeah, I've seen the list, and... Man, I mean, they just went out today. At time of recording, folks, the list is out today to check out those folks that are in LCQ, and man, you're not wrong. It is definitely a breadth of competition.
I hope many eyes are on the competition, and I hope everyone that's competing tries their best to get a lot of sleep, practice as much as possible, and just stay in the game.
That is awesome. That's the one thing you can count on for the Granblue community. Of course, they're all in it for the fun of the game. There is healthy competition, but of course, as Elsa said, you just want to play the game. That's really it. We come hang out, play this game, enjoy it, and it's one love here. And it's certainly going to be that at Arc World Tour 2024 happening this upcoming weekend, March 21st through the 23rd. Both Guilty Gear Strive, Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising, and Under Night in Birth Sis Celeste. That's the Uni 2 for short. But that is going to do for it here at Kanme. Elsa, thank you so very much. Let the folks know where they can follow you along for any content you might be doing or your day-to-day going-ons.
I have a Twitter. It's Elsa_Nier, like the character Nier in Granblue Fantasy Versus, and my Twitch, I go by 13 Princess Elsa, but it's the Roman numerals XIII Princess Elsa. I usually stream at random times. I don't have a schedule. It'll sometimes be 2 in the morning. It'll sometimes be 1 in the afternoon. It's just random. But I do try to stream some grind sessions or some things I'm practicing, want to show off a bit, and probably get some feedback on what I'm doing from other players as well. Because I believe competition is a group effort, no matter who's making the run.
You know what, that is a great belief, and seeing all of you practicing in those lobbies here, it gives me a little sense of like local pride for, you know, our region of Granblue, because historically, looking back at like vanilla, like, man, it was tough for stateside competitors to really hold their own against international competition. So seeing this here once again with all of you really just lifting each other up is really awesome. It's going to make for a better show across the board, in my opinion. So really looking forward to everything y'all have been working on. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. We're ready to take on the world.
There we go. And that will do, everybody. Thank you again. Until next time, everybody, stay happy, stay healthy, and later days.